Hello, how are you? Amanda, Seint artist. We're gonna do our makeup. Today I'm gonna show the buff brush. This is one of our full coverage brushes, and I just wanted to show that you don't need every brush. You just need to know what you want from your makeup, and we can find a brush that works for you, and you can do your whole face with just one brush. You don't need all the brushes. Do I recommend more than one? Yes, but guess what? It's your face, your choice. So do you. Find the brush that works for you to get the coverage you want to get, and let's play with makeup. So I'm going to use the buff brush today. Again, this is a full coverage brush. The denser the brush, the fuller the coverage. It's really simple. If you get a fluffy brush, you will get a lighter coverage. So again, it's whatever you want. That's what's nice about Seint. So Seint is cream-based 3D makeup, Your whole face is in one place, and you can use just one brush, one layer, one palette, one brush. Super easy. So I'm just going to be doing my face today, and we're going to get started. So the first color I'm going to go into with full coverage, fuller coverage, since we're using the buff brush, it's going to be a fuller coverage day. I like to start with my main highlight. You can go in and mark your whole face up and blend it out with this brush, but this is just the way I like it, and it's my tutorial, so I'm going to do what I want to do. So I'm going to go in on the bigger end of the buff brush, and I'm going to tap in to Sandy, which is my main highlight. It's all here on the brush. It's a clean brush. So my bristles are not sticking together, which is good. You don't want your bristles sticking together. And I'm just going to come down here. I have a lot of discoloration. I've done my color correcting, and so I like to give the coverage in this general area the most. I always first apply my makeup towards the back. I have maturing skin, so I like to tap my makeup on, but I just bring it down to my chin, and then with what's left is when I move it up. I have larger pores. You know, you have the creasing on your nose, you have your smile lines, so I always bring it down here first, and then with whatever's left on my brush, I tap it up, because I don't want to add too much makeup to high traffic areas. And when I say high traffic, I mean high movement areas. So the creasing, the smile lines, I have the straw lines, I have, you know, maturing skin. And so with my larger pores, I like to pat this in. I'm going to come right up here because I have a broken capillary up here. And so I just bring that highlight a little over that just to mute it down. It'll get covered again when I do my brightening, and then I contour in this area. And so you don't need to get all the coverage over everything all at first, because if you do that right at the beginning, you run the risk of over application. So I'm just tapping this and blending it around just to even the skin tone out. Now, it's a good quality makeup because it evens out the skin tone and it feels light, it feels hydrating. It's not like traditional makeup where you have to cover your entire face in one color, taking out all of the structure, all of the dimension. You can put this on just where you need it. I just need to even out my skin tone down here. I used to get really bad acne. I'd get the cystic acne. So I have that deep red scarring, and then I just have regular scarring from normal breakouts, not just cystic. And so I always like to make sure I get a good base on the lower part of my face, because that's where I got a lot of breakouts. It wasn't my forehead or my chin, it was my cheeks. And so I always apply my main highlight first, just to make sure that I get that decently covered. As I apply more makeup to my face, it'll cover it more. So I don't tackle the full coverage until the end, which to some people seems backwards. You get that full coverage foundation, put it all over your face, cover it with concealer all over your face, and then you put powder on top of it to cover all the things, and then you go in and structure it. You don't need to do that with Seint, and that's kind of the nice break that you get. Whatever's left on the brush, I'm just taking down my redness. Okay, I keep it very light in this area of my face with the main highlight, because I add a brightening right here for reflecting light, which I'm going to go do now. I'm going to use a small end of the buff brush. I'm going to go into Versailles, which is very light compared to my main highlight, and it should be because it's brightening. This is going to give the illusion of reflecting light. So I'm going to bring it down my nose, up between my brows, and then I'm going to fan it up and out. So over the brows, into the forehead, but not all the way up, just kind of flicking it. But you can see right here, it's nice, it's coverage. Everything in here, my contour, my bronzer, my blush is all foundational coverage, which is why we don't have to turn our face one color and then stack it on top. And so Putting this on, it gives the illusion that one, I have a color on that's way too light for my face. But once we blend it out, it turns into foundational coverage and it gives the illusion of reflecting light. So it brings the lightness into the face, just like when lights hit our face. You could see the shine of my window reflecting off my forehead. And so all this is doing is accentuating that and making it better. Okay, I'm gonna leave my under eyes alone and I'm gonna go into my contour next. So I'm going into this scary color right here, and this is indigo. It's such a scary color. A lot of people turn away from it at first, and that's okay. You don't have to go hog wild. You really don't. You can start small and you can build up. A lot of people really like using colors like olive. Let's see, do I have olive? No, I have ash, which is very similar, but it's quite a bit lighter, but it's a good gateway color into contouring if you're not used to it. I love me some indigo. So I'm gonna go in on the small end and I'm gonna go right here on the edge and I'm gonna tap in and we're gonna put that on. Now, it doesn't look like there's a lot on there, and you wanna, especially if you're just getting into it, you're just wanting to build. This is supposed to be a touch of a shadow. This is supposed to give, you know, a shadow. You're not needing to make this look like a heavy concealer of makeup. You're wanting this to be, it's high pigmentation. So wow, my hair. High pigmentation, 80% pigmentation in this makeup, whereas traditional makeups are 18%. So you don't need a lot to get all the full coverage that you want. You just build it up. And so I like to bring it very thinly across the middle and focus it out here. It all depends on the shape of your face, and finding your shape on your face is key. I have a rounder face. I don't have a very big forehead, so I focus it out here and bring it up, and it gives me a bit of a bigger forehead, not such a short forehead. I don't know, I want to look smarter. Did you ever get told that the forehead size is like a sign of intelligence? I didn't know that until I was told this in high school, and forever I was like, I need a bigger forehead. So I was told that and I was like, okay, anybody I see who has a bigger forehead, I'm like, I see you in your smartness. And so I'm just building this up to where I want it, but I like that it's a little bit warm. Indigo is a bit of a warmer tone, whereas something like Astoria, like this one, is a nice dark contour like indigo, but it's cool toned. So again, this is so customizable to what you like out of your makeup. If you like warmth on your face, indigo is a great option. If you don't want it super deep like indigo, olive is a great option. So there's ways of, like, how many options can one makeup company have? Not that many, but Seint has many, and rumor has it there's going to be more. So I'm excited. I haven't heard that, but I've heard that, you know. All right, I'm going to go in again, and I'm going to go in on the tip. So it's angled, and I'm going to go in on the tip. Boop, boop, boop. And we are going to come down the top side, not the middle, but the top side. And I'm going to tap this up and down. And this is just going to go into my brow here, but just, it doesn't have to be tidy, but I'm bringing it in. And this is just going to straighten my nose, structure my nose, straighten my bump, and make me feel good. Isn't that really all makeup is? You know, it's just make me feel good. Make me feel happy. Make me feel sexy. Make me feel good. Just don't make me feel bad. Makeup can do that. All right, so I'm just going to tap this down, and now I'm just going to blend it. So I'm just using this, and I'm just using light tapping with a touch of flicking to just blend this down and around the tip. I'm going to use my finger, and I'm just going to press into that brightening highlight I put down there, and it just gives this really pretty structure and shadowing to your nose, just like that. Ta-da! And that's it. It's all going to tie together and not look like I have a big brown spot down the middle of my forehead or nose. I will say my nose is my biggest struggle with contouring. I have a bump right here, and then it comes in, and then it kind of comes back out at the tip. And so I spend a little more time than anywhere else on my face. I spend more time on my nose. So bear with me here. I want a good schnoz. You see all those cute little button, little pointy noses, and I'm like, Amy Adams, go away with her cute little, you know, anyway. All right, back on track. I'm going to stick with this brush and I'm going to go on the edge here. I don't like using the big end to apply my contour because I like to be very focused with my contouring. So I'm just going to push this on the edge like I did last time. Pushing, not wiping. Wiping is going to be your biggest mistake when you're using cream makeups. So I am going to bring this up to the top of my ear and down. And I'm going just above my natural shadow. And when you're just getting into this, I saw somebody try something. They sent me a TikTok and they basically went big here. I'm not going to say what this shape is, but I think everybody can figure it out. You go big here, and then you come down right like, but it works out. And then you tap it and blend it, and you can see how this just turns into this really beautiful, I need to get my hair out of the way, contour. Look at that. And it just structures your jaw in the back here. Oh, what a cute little trick. Why not give it a try? Okay. Now we remember what we drew on our face. So let's draw another one over here. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go up here. And then we're going to come down here. You know, I'm not going to be naughty. I'm not going to be naughty. We're just going to say, yeah, I see it. And now we're going to blend it. So I'm blending up into the temple. And then I'm just pushing this into the hairline and I'm pushing on my cheekbone. And I think that looks really nice. I underblend my cheeks, so it does look very heavy, but I do that because once I add my bronzer and my blush, it's gonna blend it down more. All right, next I'm gonna do my jawline. I always try, and I forget this on almost every tutorial I do, I will draw this line and I will leave it, and I go in front of the earlobe and down. Now, if I just draw the line and then say, I'll blend this in a minute, chances are I'm going to leave my house with a big brown smear down my face because I always forget it. And it just looks like I fell in poop or something. It's just terrible. My husband, that's what my husband calls it. He's like, no, I'm not going to say what he says, but it isn't the word poop. And he always asks, did you fall in some poop? It's my contour. It's my contour. I'm going to go right where my chin disappears. I'm going to push back. This is just going to hide this chin. Shadows hide everything. Okay, that's it. All right, we've contoured. We've done our main highlight. We've added some brightening. Now we're going to go into the bronzer. I'm going to go to the big end of the buff brush with this. I'm going into Bella bronzer. It's my favorite. If you don't have it, get it. It's so good. All right. I want you to remember, if you're ever questioning, is a bronzer going to work for you? Would Bella work for my skin tone? I always refer back to this. Bella was the only bronzer for years. Four years, Bella was the only show in town, and it worked for every skin tone. It was an all-inclusive bronzer. It's so good. So if you're ever wondering if Bella would work for you because it looks really scary, it absolutely will. Are there other ones that are good? Yes, I always come back to Bella though. All right, so I've got it on here. You can see a little bit, and I'm gonna put some right here, and I'm gonna put some right here. So this is where the sun hits. It's gonna hit here, it's gonna add the warmth. So I wanna add it there. Tapping in, and I'm gonna go above that contour, and I'm gonna go on the high point of my cheekbone here. That's where I wanna add this, just like that. And we're going to drape it, which just means, it's just a fancy way of saying, I'm gonna bring this up and around my eye. Just like this. And we're going to add some blending to it. We're just going to blend it out, warm up our forehead a little bit. I'm going to flip it to the small end, and I'm going to pull that brightening in. Do you see how it just blurs that line? Look at how good that is. So good. So we're into the temple, pushing into the hairline. Never stop your makeup at your hairline. Just push it in. It's going to be okay, because then it just looks like you painted a mask on. Now I'm tapping in right here onto the high point of my cheekbone, and then I just kind of go bigger and bigger and bigger and blend it out. And it just adds, look at that pretty warmth. Okay, over here doing the same thing, tapping into it, pushing it towards my hairline, into my temple area, getting the hair out of the way, just like that, bringing it down onto that cheekbone, going around and tapping in a circle, bigger, 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 boom, 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 bring it up. We're going to take that little end, we're going to pull that brightening in, just like that. Going down, just tidy some things up. Tidy, tidy, tidy. So pretty. Okay, I'm going to bring this down like a blush. Why not? Okay, so I got the color Madrid. I think it's really great. So if you're wanting to hang on to the last bits of summer with those pretty pinks, but you're getting into fall, so you also want it kind of peachy, Madrid. I love this color. So the lip and cheeks, I prefer a satin finish on my cheeks. The other ones are glossy and they can get a little tacky, so I kind of stay away from them. But I'm going to use the big end, and I'm just going to tap twice, and I want to build this. So I'm putting this on the top part. Tap a little more. I want to put this up here, adding some pink. I always start at my cheekbone, and then I smile and I bring it down to my apple. And I do that because as you mature, you lose volume in your cheeks. And so if you add this big circle of blush right here, and then you're not smiling, you're driving, you're stopped at a stoplight, and you're just thinking about what am I going to make for dinner, and your face is resting, it's going to have that circle, but there's no suppleness. So if you blend this down, it just ombres down, and it gives like a natural fullness to your cheek while you're resting your face. Does that make sense? Sometimes I say things and they don't make sense once they come out of my mouth. And people look at, I was trying to compare something to apples and bananas today. And I was like, halfway through saying it, I was like, this is such a bad idea. I can't even, it just did not work. So I know sometimes I say things and it's like, what'd she say? What'd she just say? So I really like using Madrid for a bridging color is all I'm telling you. And I start at up at the top and then I bring it down. And it's just this good, yummy, warm color. Okay, I'm gonna go into my under eyes now. We're going in with this tiny end. And I like to save my under eyes for last in case I get a little hairy. Like you can see, I brought this up pretty high over here with my bronzer and my blush. So I'm gonna use my brightening to kind of control it. I'm gonna go in with the small end here. I'm gonna pinch it just to kind of form it out. And we're gonna add a little bit, not a lot. And I'm gonna come below my trough. So this is a high texture area. And that means if you don't have texture, you will make texture here very easily. You can make it look very crepey and very fragile by using too much product. This is where people see, this area is where everybody sees first, your pores, your nose, your eyes. And so using less is actually using more. So we're gonna take that brightening and we're gonna go below the trough right here. And we're gonna bring this up onto the inner corner and up. Just like that. I'm gonna go right in just a little bit. Now again, this color is not my skin tone, it's brightening. Gonna add a little more, and we are gonna come out to this outer corner here, and we're gonna follow our lash line, and we're gonna come up. And that's it, that's all we need, okay? I'm going to tap on the flat end, and I'm bringing it together on the orbital bone. Not on the soft tissue, on this orbital bone. I'm gonna push this up, we're gonna blend this, and it's going to rain down that cheek and that bronzer that got a little out of sorts. We're gonna bring it down, tapping on that orbital bone, pulling this down for brightening, and then going up onto this soft tissue. Now, if you ever add too much makeup, just keep blending. Keep blending it down. You're gonna be fine. But I like going into the big end after I've applied it and just bridging that blush area to that under eye, and then using the big end to just kind of pick up any excess that you have. It happens to everybody. Even I sometimes get in my car and I'm like, whoa, what did you do? Did you forget to turn a light on? But I love how this brightening is so good for the under eyes. I mean, just look at how bright and fresh this looks, whereas this is just a little more dull on my face. This is how I like my makeup to look. So I'm going to tap in to that Versailles brightening, going under the trough, adding that little dot, and then I'm bringing it up into that corner. I get very dark right here under my tear duct and up here. So I always like to go under the trough and I bring it up and then down just a little bit to get that dark area that I'm trying to cover. Adding, I mean, you can barely see that it's on the brush. Coming up, and I'm going to give myself that eye lift. Just like that. All right, I'm pushing onto this. I have my product up here. I take this end and I just kind of bring them together and then I come up. Very easy. Tapping it, building it out, blending it, flipping it to the big end, and just bridging it with that cheek color. You don't want to forget that you want this to segue in. You want this to fade into your next color. That's what gives you an even skin tone with dimension. So I like to pull this a little farther down than the soft tissue. If you keep your brightening right on that soft tissue, you're going to accentuate the soft tissue. You're going to make it look puffy. You're going to make it look crepey, and you're going to accentuate that maturing area. I know at my age, I'm 41, and so this is just an area where I try to be a little more careful, and I just keep blending until I'm happy. If you ever notice movement, if you feel like you get a lot of creasing around your eyes, you're using too much. But it is a movement area. It's a trafficky area. You use a lot of expression in your face, so things move around when you talk. So take your finger and you just press it and it resets it. It just kind of pushes it back out, resets it without having to add more. And that's it. I'm going to take my setting spray. I'm going to use Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm going to spray my face. I'm going to set it. I'm going to take my brush, and while this is still wet on my face, I'm tapping it in. And this is also giving everything just a good final blend. And it's just good stuff. This is good makeup. I'm going to take a little bit of bronzer on my brush. I'm going to push it here and push it here. And then I'm just going to blend it out. I like to put my bronzer on my neck because my neck is always, always, always lighter than my face. I always put it here and here though, because if it does kind of stay, I want it to stay there because it almost works as a contour to your neck. And I just blend it around and it bridges everything together. My chest always stays dark. My face gets dark from, makeup, but my neck is always lighter than my chest because the shadowing or I don't know what, but it is. And that's how I handle it. Okay, that's my face. That's the Buff brush. If you like fuller coverage, this is your jam. Such a good brush. I love the application. I haven't used it in a long time and I missed it. This is a really, really pretty application. So give it a whirl. Message me for a color match. Oh, we didn't do our lips. Stop right there. Small end going into that indigo. We're going to go right here and we're going to contour under the lip. Okay? Under the lip. We're going to go over the lip. Just like that. Going up, we're going to blend this out. We don't want to look like we have a mustache. We want to look like we have a shadow created from our lips curling. Same thing down here. We're going to blend this out just like that. And I am going to get a lip liner. My favorite lip liner is in my gym bag. So we're going to get Boldly Bare. Let's do that one. And I'm going to go outer lining the lips. I don't outline outside of my lips, but I do live on the dangerous edge of doing it. I always get my upper lip and I go from the corner up. It just kind of hugs that edge real nice when you do that. And then I open and I wing it. I don't wing it out on the bottom, but it just, I don't know, lip liner is good, especially for maturing women, because we get, that. I'm going to take Madrid and I'll put that on. And isn't that a pretty color? It's such a good fall. I'm hanging on to summer, but it's fall, y'all. I'm going to take a little bit of balm. This is the Demi Balm. It's discolored at this point because I put it over all of my lipstick because satin finishes can look a bit dry. But if you add the balm on top, it's delightful. Oopsies, got some on my nail. There we go. You can't, it's so good. It's vanilla-y, it's yummy. And I just put it on. And I like that it's small, whereas the lip conditioners are bigger. But that's it. Okay, that's it. That's my face. That's the Buff brush. Have a good day.